It's the year that King Uzziah dies. The city of Judah is under threat from neighbors to the north, Damascus and Israel, and later threatened by the Assyrians. It's a time of upheaval, despair, and fear. And in amongst the distress and the chaos, Isaiah sees a visible manifestation of God, a theophany, the glory of God in his midst. It's a bit like a movie scene that keeps adding elements to a glorious climax, layer upon layer. God is sitting on the throne. The hem of God's robe fills the temple. Seraphs, large angel-like creatures with massive wings, flank either side of God. 2 wings cover their eyes, 2 their feet, and 2 they use to fly around the space, singing, proclaiming, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of the glory of God." The praise and the noise and the movement fill the temple, so much so that the thresholds of the building begin to shake, and the space fills with smoke. This would be an absolutely terrifying sight for Isaiah. Ancient beliefs in God meant that one could not see the face of God and survive. In that moment, Isaiah is confident in his death because he's not worthy to have witnessed the scene before him. He is a man of unclean lips, surrounded by a people of unclean lips. And then a seraph swoops down and using tongs, because the live coal is very hot, puts the coal onto Isaiah's lips, freeing him from guilt and sin, allowing him to live. Isaiah hears the voice of God. "Whom shall I send?" And Isaiah, compelled by something larger than himself, says immediately, "Here I am, send me." 2 summers ago, I went to the Grand Canyon for the very first time. I don't have many words to describe my first look at this canyon, except that it was awesome. I was completely aware of my insignificance and smallness in the magnificence of it all. I was speechless, breathless at the wonder of it, standing at the cliff's edge, maybe 12 feet back from the cliff's edge, but standing close to the edge. I was completely aware of the danger, of the vastness at my feet, and the little tiny space that was between me, between my life and my death, 4,000 feet below at the canyon floor. I fussed in my mind about the fact that there weren't 20 feet fences that would protect the children and the adults that insisted on looking down further than 12 feet away, or closer than 12 feet away. But once I was able to rest in the knowledge that people were keenly aware of their families and their safety, I was able to stand there and feel and know the presence of something way larger than myself. A divine space, and time. I was compelled to be present to that moment, regardless of the 45-degree heat, regardless of the storm that was waltzing in on the expanse. I wanted to experience it for as long as I could. I felt at peace, surrounded by a spirit that was as close to me as the air I breathed. I imagine that Isaiah was moved and transformed by his vision. The experience of seeing and knowing the presence of God in all of God's majesty and power could not necessarily be articulated by anything except, "Here I am, send me." We live in difficult times. We are troubled by the bombardment of images of war-torn places in this world, bewildered and perplexed by what might happen to our American neighbors on Tuesday. We grieve for the families of the young women who were injured and killed in the safety of their school, and the increase in suicides among young people in the northern communities. We're frustrated by the consistent threat to the health of this natural world that we live in, and the abusive reactions to the ones who try to protect it. The list is long. And yet, in amongst the chaos and distress, we see glimpses of the Holy One. The hem of God's robe fills the temple of the world. Those in hospice that strive to care and provide comfort for those who are dying, for those who support their family and loved ones, who say, in the midst of all of it, "Here I am, send me." For those who stood up to be counted amongst the ones who obstructed the progress of injustice, sometimes with their lives, who work for peace in times of war, who say, "Here I am, send me." For those who welcome the stranger facing persecution with open arms, with hearts full of love, regardless of their own exhaustion or seemingly not much to share, who say, "Here I am, send me." For those like Gordon who are gifted, called, and chosen by God, and choose to lead lives of commitment and love for this church, who say, "Here I am, send me." And those of us who notice the power and awe of God in threads of holiness that weave through and in our lives, who choose to be instruments of God and to affirm the love-filled action of others, who answer the call of God regardless of the personal outcome or sacrifice, who say, "Here I am, send me." Here I am, send me. Holy, holy, holy God, the whole earth is full of your glory. May we work for your peace, your justice, the coming of your kingdom. Amen.